We think of sleep as this time for our bodies to rest and repair. But what if I told you that for millions of adults over 50, a few seemingly harmless nighttime habits can actually turn sleep into the most dangerous time for their heart? Let's dive into why.
I mean, that's a terrifying thought, isn't it? But this isn't just some hypothetical fear. For hundreds of thousands of adults, it's a tragic reality. And a lot of the time, it's not rooted in bad luck, but in simple, everyday nightly routines.
And get this, here's the stark medical fact that really puts it all into perspective. The American Heart Association points out that nearly half, almost 50%, of all fatal cardiovascular events in older adults happen between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. That is not a coincidence. It tells us that something dangerous is happening while we think we're safely asleep.
So normally, sleep is a protective state. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, and your body goes into repair mode. But when certain habits mess with this natural process, that restorative state can become what one expert calls a physiological minefield. Seriously, it puts your heart and your brain at serious risk.
So what are these dangerous habits? We're going to break down 5 of the most common and frankly most deadly nighttime habits that specifically affect adults over 50. And really, just understanding these is the first, most crucial step toward protecting yourself.
All right, first up, eating a big, heavy meal late at night. So many of us do it without even a second thought. But after 50, what you eat, and more importantly, when you eat, can force your heart to struggle for hours when it should be resting. See, it sets off this whole dangerous chain reaction. A late meal makes your heart pump harder to help with digestion, which causes your blood pressure to go up, right when it should be dropping. It also jacks up blood fats and inflammation in your arteries. And to top it all off, it can cause acid reflux, which can actually trigger dangerous heart rhythm disturbances on its own.
Dr. Bennett shares this story of a 68-year-old patient who had this exact habit for decades. The constant nightly stress on our heart, it eventually became too much. It's such a powerful reminder that this isn't about one bad night, it's about the damage that adds up over years and years.
Okay, the second habit is absolutely critical for anyone on medication for blood pressure, cholesterol, or on blood thinners. Skipping a dose or even just taking it at the wrong time isn't a minor slip-up. It can have life-threatening consequences while you're fast asleep.
What happens is it leads to this dangerous thing called nocturnal hypertension. When you miss your meds, your blood pressure can really spike during the night. And these spikes are powerful enough to literally rupture plaque in your arteries, forming clots. The scariest part? It happens silently. There are no warning signs at all.
Dr. Bennett talks about a patient who often forgot his medication and ended up having a massive stroke. He survived, but with permanent paralysis. This just goes to show you it's not about just remembering to take a pill, it's about preventing a totally life-altering event.
Now for our third habit. This is a condition that is one of the most underdiagnosed killers out there, untreated sleep apnea. It is so much more than just loud snoring. Medical studies show it can triple your risk of a nighttime heart attack and quadruple your risk of a stroke.
So here's what's happening in your body. With sleep apnea, you repeatedly stop breathing. Your blood oxygen just plummets, and your body panics. It triggers this emergency response where your heart races, your blood pressure spikes, and stress hormones flood your system. And this can happen hundreds of times every single night. It puts this incredible strain on your heart. You've got to recognize these key warning signs.
This one patient thought her snoring was just an annoyance, but one night her oxygen levels dropped so low that her heart's rhythm became dangerously unstable. She was lucky. This story really shows that getting a proper diagnosis and treatment isn't just about getting a better night's sleep. It's literally a life-saving intervention.
All right, our fourth habit is especially dangerous because a lot of people do it on purpose, thinking it's actually a smart thing to do. I'm talking about going to bed dehydrated just so you can avoid waking up to use the bathroom.
And here we see this huge, dangerous clash between what people believe and what's medically true. The belief is that avoiding water helps you sleep better. But the reality is, well, it's terrifying. Dehydration makes your blood thicker, and thicker blood forms clots way more easily, which dramatically increases your risk of a stroke or a heart attack.
This story is just a perfect, tragic example. A 70-year-old patient was actually proud of this habit. One morning, he had a stroke. The doctors found that his blood was unusually concentrated, and they concluded that dehydration played a key role. It's such a stark warning against this really common misconception. And finally, our fifth habit. This is one that almost nobody connects to heart health: the temperature of your bedroom. It might seem like just a minor comfort issue, but believe me, it has a direct and powerful effect on your cardiovascular system.
Let's break this down. If your room is too hot, your body struggles to cool itself down, which increases your heart rate and puts stress on your whole system. If it's too cold, your blood vessels actually constrict, which raises your blood pressure and forces your heart to work that much harder. The sweet spot, the ideal range for cardiovascular safety, is between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius, which is about 65 to 70 Fahrenheit.
Okay, so we've identified all the dangers. Now for the most important part, the solution. And the good news is that protecting yourself doesn't require any extreme measures. It's all about building a simple, consistent, heart-safe nightly routine. And this timeline just shows you how manageable it is. Look, it addresses every single risk we've talked about. An early, light dinner, timed hydration and medication, calming down with activities, and getting your room's temperature right. It's a super clear, step-by-step plan you can literally start using tonight.
And this isn't just some guesswork. According to multiple studies on things like circadian blood pressure and sleep safety, following a routine just like the one we saw can reduce your nighttime cardiovascular stress by more than 40%. That is a massive, life-saving reduction in risk.
So, after all this, what's the key takeaway? Well, the point of all this information isn't to scare you. It's to empower you. The truth is, many nighttime cardiovascular events are not random acts of fate. They are preventable.
Let's just do a quick final review of those 5 silent killers we covered. Late, heavy dinners, inconsistent medication, untreated sleep apnea, nighttime dehydration, and poor temperature control. Each one is a risk on its own, but when you put them together, they create a perfect storm.
Let's just end with this thought. Your body has worked hard for you for decades. Nighttime is when you're supposed to protect it while it rests. The